And that's where we have Todd Kierstead with us today, so that we will be able to get some golf tips and at the same time get to see his golf tricks, which he's well known for, as well as understand his new golf direction with inclusion and diversity within golf to get disabled and war veterans back into the game of golf, which is an incredible story that he is working on. I have personally known Todd for over 15 years. He has taken the game of golf in a totally different direction. He's actually helped my golf. Then again, my last name is Daly, so I've got to have some golf skills in me. But with the golf lockdown, Todd is at a golf driving range, I believe, right, Todd? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, perfect. I can't see you yet, but I can hear you.
Okay.
But that's okay. We'll keep working on that while I talk about you for a second. Oh, there we go. There's Todd.
Excellent. Look at that.
Well, Todd, actually, Anthony, we got to give Todd a little bit of credit here. In Ontario, we're not supposed to be anywhere near a golf course right now. But thank goodness for Todd. He found his way onto a driving range, so he's able to show us a little bit better details of how to have that proper swing.
Fantastic.
So just before I get Todd started here, I wanted to just quickly read a really short bio of him because he is quite an incredible person and he's traveled all around the world and he will continue to travel around the world helping out businesses and charities. And he has been voted the best trick shot of the year with the Golf Channel. He's also been on CTV Sports Plays of the Year. He's also been on Sports Illustrated, ESPN, TSN, you name it, and you've probably seen Todd there. He's also traveled throughout Japan, South Korea, Italy, Spain, Germany, Mexico, and even deep within the Arctic Circle. When you get a chance, if you get a chance to Google Todd Kierstead, you'll be able to see some great video from the Arctic Circle and how he was bringing the game of golf up there too. But the biggest thing I have to speak about just really quickly is Todd was actually a big valuable part of the Invictus Games in Toronto, where he was with Prince Harry and he was with the Wounded Warriors, and he was trying to bring para golf back into the mainstream light and giving people the opportunity to get back into the game of golf. And now with Score Golf, he's now got a partnership with them to bring back golf into the Paralympic Games and into a para golf format. So not only is Todd extremely well known for his golf trick shots and for his golf pro tips, he's also bringing it to many people of many different diversities. And Todd, I know that with the restrictions too, we weren't able to show everything that you're able to do. So if you don't mind, I'm going to show a really quick video of Todd in the Bahamas with, what was his name? I don't know if you remember his name, but he's the weekend golfer. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we had too many pops at that time, so I can't remember his name.
Well, I will share the screen quickly. I'll play this video so everybody has a chance to see your skill set a little bit better because we can't really show it right now. But I'm going to share the screen and we'll watch this and get back to you, Todd.
This weekend, I've booked a lad's trip to the Bahamas. But before I go, I'm meeting up with golf trick shot artist Todd Kierstead. I am the weekend golfer, and this is the coconut trick shot.
You know, golf trick shots now are going viral. You don't see them, but they're rolling for about an hour to capture that one shot.
Yep.
And to me, the people that I appreciate are the ones that can do it on demand. I've had some great baseball players. I've had Joe Carter, we've had Batista, we've had a lot of guys try this shot. The key to this one is just making sure that you stay in the same plane. And as the tees get a little higher, you're just changing your spine angle to go higher, higher, higher. You know what? Why don't we, this would be a good one. What you're going to put in my wheelhouse, I'm just going to try and take this thing out of the air. just like that. Come on! I'm called a trick shot artist, but really there's no trickery involved. It's just core, solid golf fundamentals.
And it's like a magic trick where you can't screw it up. You're on stage and you're exposed. If you screw up a magic trick, they're going to know
Exactly.
they saw the whole smoke and mirrors act.
Oh my God. Wrap that on for me, okay?
Before heading off, Todd shows me a trick that you shouldn't try at home.
I kind of know where this is going, and I'm not sure I like it. I trust you? Question mark? Tell everyone I love them.
This shot has went viral. It actually won 2014 Trick Shot of the Year from the Golf Channel. And here we go.
Was it good for you?
It was great for me. I might buy you a drink later on today. Hold it in your lips and your teeth. Don't put your tongue on the end of it, because if I do clip the tee, it might nick the tongue.
You're fucking.
Armed with my
Well, that was just something, Todd, I had to show. I've seen firsthand what you can do, and you pretty much can hit a golf ball off of anything. So why don't you give us some tips and tell us what you're here for today?
Well, you know what? Thank you so much. What a great introduction, Laura. I'm going to take you on the road when these lockdown finishes, and you can come out and introduce me anytime.
Love
But
it.
the key to it is there is, you know, as I said in the video, you know, there's no real trickery involved. It's pure golf fundamentals, and I'm going to show you a couple things right now that allow me to hit the shots that I do, but it's also going to help your own golf game. So what I'm going to do is I've got a few balls lined up, and I'm not sure how far back the camera gets to see me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a couple shots, and we're going to, you can't see ball flight right now, but so right now I completely missed that golf ball. And the first thing someone tells you when you're watching them play golf is when you miss that ball, or you hit the top of the ball and you thin it, the first thing someone tells you, it's well-meaning advice, you lifted your head or you've taken your eye off the ball. And I've heard that since day one, since I started playing golf. And unfortunately, it's well-meaning advice, but it's not the correct information. Because what actually happens is when you take your setup position, I'm 6 foot tall standing here talking to you. When I take my setup position in the game of golf, I'm tilted forward from the hips. So I've created an angle with my spine. And if I maintain that same spine angle, I lost roughly 3 to 4 inches off my height. So right now, 6 foot, and I'm about 5'9". And if I maintain that same spine angle, the club is automatically going to return to that same spot. I can lift my head, I can do whatever I want, and that club doesn't move. But the second I change the angle of my spine, look at what happens to the golf club. So I'm going to set up here and try and hit that shot again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the big cardinal sin in golf. I'm actually going to lift my head and look out in the horizon. And I know if I maintain the same spine angle, oh, I wish you can see that one. I hit that one real good. The ball just happens to get in the way. But what most people do is they change their spine angle as they're swinging. And when they change the spine angle as they're swinging, the golf club is moving up and down. So basically every time that you swing a golf club, if your spine angle is changing, you're rolling the dice. And it's, do I get lucky and find that exact same height? Now, again, there's no trickery involved. I'm going to set up again. And I'm purposely now going to look at the video camera. And I know if I maintain that same spine angle, the ball just gets in the way. When you set up to the golf ball, the golf club's already in the perfect position. You just have to maintain what you started in. I could even have the worst possible address position around. And I know that if I maintain this same spine angle, the ball will just get in the way every single time, no matter what. So there's no real trickery involved, but it's maintaining that same spine angle. The next time you're out on the golf course and you hit a bad shot and someone tells you that you lifted your head or you took your eye off the ball, it's not the case. You've changed your spine angle. How many times have we seen golfers, if you watch the top of my head, they make golf swings like this, going up and down. Again, they're rolling the dice on, do I find the golf ball? So what I want to do is I want to open it up to you guys, because I want this to be about you. I can stand here and talk about golf all day long, but Laura, if anybody types in any questions, fire them off to me, please, because I would love to know what people want to know tonight.
I will, for sure.
Do we have anything now, or am I still going on?
No, keep going on right now. We've got to,
Love
I
it.
think people are nervous to ask, but we'll get them in there for sure.
Okay, so we've all heard the term tee it high and let it fly. It's a fun term in golf, and a lot of people, they don't tee the ball high enough with their driver because they're so accustomed to trying to not hit the top of the golf club with the golf ball. But the trick shot's what I'm going to do right now. So I've got 6 tees set up. It's a little bit windy here, so this tall one doesn't really want to stay there. But again, that spine angle is so important. So what I'm going to do, instead of having my spine angle set up where the club's resting on the ground, I'm going to elevate my spine angle to each one of these tees. And again, I wish we were all in attendance right here because it would look a lot better, but I'm going to hit every one of these balls just by changing my spine angle. And again, no trickery involved. It's just me having good golf fundamentals. So when people call me a trick shot artist, I'm okay with it, but there's no real trickery involved in any of these shots. It's just pure golf fundamentals. The next thing is having your hands on the golf club correctly. Now, a lot of instructors will teach one way to hold on to a golf club. I'm not like that because each one of our bodies are anatomically different. What I'm looking for is if I let my arms hang down to my sides, my hands are pronated in. Now, each one of us, our hands are pronated in at different degrees. What I'm trying to do when I set up to the golf ball and hold on to the golf club is I want to try and match this natural arm hanging down position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest the golf club on my leg, my lead leg, and I'm going to hold it lightly in the fingertips. From there, I'm just going to automatically grab onto the golf club. You can see that my hand went a little bit more over top of the golf club, but that's my natural arm hanging down position. What a lot of people do is they'll hold onto the golf club like this, which is not my natural arm hanging down position. So if I'm holding on the golf club like this, and I'm bringing the club down, my natural arm hanging down position is going to automatically open up the golf club, which causes a lot of slices. Now, 9 times out of 10, when people are coming to see me for golf lessons, it's trying to fix that slice. So the first thing that we're going to work on is just making sure that we have our hands on the golf club in the correct position.
Oh, Todd,
again,
I think we lost your video quickly.
Back now?
There we go. Yeah,
Okay.
you're back. You're back.
So it's just trying to find that natural arm hanging down position. And as I said, a lot of people, when they hold on to the golf club, they're usually underneath. And I know you can see my arm really good right here. And if I bring my hand down, my hand's going to automatically manipulate, which is going to change the angle of the club face. So finding a natural arm hanging down position, it's very personal to each individual that I'm working with, or it's very personal to you that are listening. But it's letting your arms hang down to your side, holding the golf club beside your body and the tips of the finger, and just grabbing a hold of the golf club. And when you grab a hold of the golf club like that, it'll automatically put you in a natural arm hanging down position, which is key to hitting straight shots all the time.
So Todd, I have a question here, actually.
Yeah, I love it.
One of the questions is, I am a left-handed golfer with a chronic slice. No matter how many adjustments I make, help.
I love it. Okay, so it's tough for me because I can't see the individual swing, but a really great drill. It's something with me being left, I'm a left-hand player, but I'm right-hand dominant. So when I'm swinging the golf club, my natural swing is to pull down with my lead side. And when I pull down with my lead side, which is my right side, it keeps that club face open. So a great drill is you're going to take your 7-iron out when you're on the driving range, and you're going to hold on to the golf club. Let me grab my 7-iron right now. And you're going to hold on to the golf club. You're going to tee a bunch of balls up, but you're going to hold your hands so they're separated. And we call that the split grip. So I've got about probably 5 inches between my pinky finger of my bottom hand and my index finger of my top hand. And what this forces the body to do is when you're making the golf swing, it forces you to roll your arms over. And if you can see my arms right now, they're completely crossed. And what that does to the club face is it actually closes the club face. Now, if you're hitting a slice, chances are the club face is open. And when it's open, it puts that side spin on the golf ball. So what I recommend, and it's a great drill, and I used to use this drill all the time, tee a bunch of balls up, grab your 7-iron, hold your hands so they're separated, and hit a couple golf balls. And what's going to happen is the arms are going to cross over, which they're supposed to do when you're making your normal golf swing. And with that exaggerated move, you're actually going to be hooking the ball. Now, the individual that asked that question, chances are he's never really seen a hook in his life because the slice is his natural shot. So when you get good at naturally hooking the golf ball, and that's why I say do it on the driving range, when the ball starts to turn over too much with a hook, start to move your hands closer and closer and closer together. When you get to a point when you start slicing the ball again or hitting maybe a fade, separate your hands a little bit more. Because what you're doing with your hands separated, it's ingraining this arm hanging motion and releasing the golf club so it can become muscle memory. So it can become your habit. Because I guarantee right now, when I look at most slicers, the impact position and follow through look like this. And you have a little bit what we call a chicken wing, and your club face stays open and you hit that shot for the left-handed player that curves to the right, or for the right-handed player that curves to the left. So anybody that's slicing the ball, grab your 7-iron, tee the ball up, separate your hands and start hooking the ball, hitting the ball and hooking it. When you get good with hooking it, start moving your hands closer and closer and closer together. What you want to do is you want to do enough repetition to break the old habit and enough repetition to relearn a new habit. And I wish I could tell you how many swings that would take, but it's how deeply that motion is ingrained that you have to do enough repetition to break that and relearn the new habit. So that'll help you out, definitely for a slice. That fixes a slice, I guarantee it. Any more, Laura, or do I keep on going?
Actually, while you're on the golf swing grip.
Yes.
So big question that I've had a couple of people ask me through email here is, do you actually interlock your pinkies, or is it more of a baseball grip?
Okay, there's 3 types of grips that we use in golf, and I'm going to get a little bit closer to the camera right here. There is something called the 10-finger or the baseball grip, where all our fingers are on the golf club. Then we have something called the overlap grip, which is we take our pinky of our bottom hand, and it looks like it's top because I'm holding the golf club straight out, and you're going to overlap it between the knuckle of the index finger and your middle finger. Or there is something called the interlock grip, which is where we take our pinky off of our bottom hand, index finger off the top hand, and interlock the 2 of them. Each one of those grips are correct as long as they fit the size of your hand. Now, most people with smaller hands, I wouldn't recommend using an interlocking grip. I might use the overlap or even the baseball grip, but it's really whatever feels more comfortable to you, because each one of those grips are correct as long as your hands are on the golf club correctly, especially that top hand or your lead hand. And I always say top hand because your lead arm, it's higher than your bottom hand. So your top hand, if that's on the golf club in a natural neutral position, it's going to square the golf club up correctly. So each one of those 3 grips are correct as long as they fit the size of your hand and it feels comfortable to you.
Perfect. Fantastic. Keep going on then. I'll tell you when there's more questions coming in.
Perfect. Okay. Actually, this is a fun one, and this is something that nobody really talks about, and it's going to take me a second to get set up here. But I'm going to ask everybody that's listening right now, when you are holding onto the golf club, which hand is further away from your body? Is it your top hand or your bottom hand? Now, Laura, I'm going to ask you, I know you golf, and you're on live with me. So which hand is further away from your body, Laura, when you hold onto the golf club, your top hand or your bottom hand?
Your top.
Exactly. So what actually happens is we see people, and I've got right now 2 pieces of doweling and bungee cords. Can you see me, Laura, with that?
Yes, you look great.
Can you see? Okay, perfect. I look a little foolish, I know that. But what happens is, if I see people all the time that set up to the golf ball and they put the golf club across their shoulders to make sure they're aimed straight, and then they put the golf club across their hips to make sure they're aimed straight. But what actually happens is, when you hold on to the golf club, one hand is further away from your body than the other. And the hand that's further away from your body is actually your bottom hand. So what happens is, if you can see the dowlings, and Laura, please just, I can't see the camera, but if you can we see these dowlings, especially the tip of them right here? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you're perfect, yeah.
Okay, so right now the dowlings are pointing at the camera. So I'm aimed right at the camera. But the second I hold on to the golf club, watch what happens to the top dowling. Where did the dowling point, Laura? See how it pointed
Outwards
off camera now?
Yeah.
Exactly. So what actually happens is, because one hand is further away from the body than the other, it actually pulls us out of alignment. So that's why you see a lot of the players on tour, and they're playing actually at Kiowa Island, and I've done a bunch of demonstrations there, and it's a phenomenal facility. But what you're going to see when they're setting up to the golf ball is they're going to be wiggling their shoulders, they're going to be wiggling their arms, because they're going to try and get everything in alignment. Because what happens is, again, I'm aimed straight at the camera right now, but the second I hold the hands on the golf club, it pulls everything out of alignment. And that's why a lot of people, their divots are going what we call across their target line, or for the right-handed golfer, the divot's going to the left, and for the right-handed golfer, the divot, or for the left-handed golfer, it's going to the right. For the left-handed golfer, it's going to the left. So what actually happens is, we have to wiggle our bodies to get everything so they're back in alignment, because naturally, it's going to pull us out of alignment. And that's why a lot of people don't hit straight shots. So this is a really good drill. Really, they're very inexpensive dowlings and bungee cords, but I can check to make sure that my alignment is square every single time when I'm holding onto the golf club. Because as I said, one hand is further away from the body than the other, which pulls our shoulders way out of alignment, which is why a lot of people don't hit straight shots. So, you know, even before you swing a golf club, you could be way out of alignment, which, you know, you're not giving yourself a chance to hit a straight shot. So you got to get everything square. You got to get your hands on the golf club straight. You got to get that club face pointing straight, but you also got to get your body pointing so it's straight down the target line. So even before you swing, your static positions are so important. The positions that you get in before you even move the golf club. Any other questions, Laura, or I keep on rolling?
No, I do. And actually, that's a great outfit to wear for the pandemic when you need 6 feet apart from your players. But the one question I do have here is, what is one of your favorite places to play golf?
Oh my God. You know, there's so many great golf courses, and I've seen a lot of great golf courses around the world. To me, it's about experiences. And I look at my most memorable experience. Like I could have, and if you think about it, golf courses are challenging now. Architects are setting the golf courses up real difficult. You know, they've lengthened out this golf course, especially even at Kiowa Island. They're playing at the longest length golf course on the PGA Tour. So they're making it really challenging. I look at it, I could be playing at a beautiful golf course and it could be incredibly difficult, but if I don't shoot my best score there, I'm not going to like it, even though it could be the best visually appealing golf course out there. But so I look at what is my best experience, and you'll always say wherever you shot your best round, that's your favorite golf course. But I've had some great experience. I've played deep inside the Arctic Circle in a place that's the most northern golf course in the world. It's a place called Olahuktuk, and it's on Queens Island, 600 miles north of the Arctic Circle. And what they've actually done is, you can't go rest, but they have mossy tundra. So the bunker, or sorry, the green is all artificial turf. And another golf course like that is in Yellowknife. Yellowknife, it's a sand-based golf course. So you carry around a 2 by 1 foot piece of AstroTurf. So you hit your tee shot right down the middle of the fairway and plops in the sand. You've got to pick the ball up, put it on the piece of turf. You hit your second shot, then you pick your turf up and you take it to your next shot, and that's how you play. And they're artificial turf greens in Yellowknife, 4 pin placements, and they pick a pin placement every day. And it was awesome because myself and a friend of mine named Jordan Tutu that played in the NHL, he's from up there, and we hit the ceremonial tee shot at 11:59 p.m. to start off the Midnight Sun Classic. So that was an incredible experience where you can golf 24 hours a day, and I did it. I actually played golf, Laura, for 24 straight hours just to say I can do it. I was exhausted, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So, you know, I played golf in Hawaii. I played golf in South Korea 2 years ago. I've had some incredible experiences, and there's a lot of great golf courses out there. My God, the beauty is incredible. So some fun
Awesome.
experiences.
Thank you, Todd. That's great education for, I think, a lot of us. Oh, actually, I think there's one more question. Or not one more question, but here's another question. Is there a specific angle that the golf club needs to make with respect to the ground?
Well, I always look at it. We buy a golf club and it sits on the ground flat. Let's use it. If we're hitting the ball, if it's up on the toe, balls are what's going to happen is the club's going to dig into the ground and the club face is going to open up. Or if we hit the ball and our heel hits the ground first, the toe is going to close and we're going to hit hooks. That's easily resolved by getting your clubs fitted for you. It's the same way as a pair of running shoes or a pair of shoes. If you're wearing ill-fitted shoes, if your shoes are too small, you got to curl up your toes to walk. If your shoes are too big, you got to kind of drag your feet a little bit to keep your shoes on. So you have to make a compensating stride with ill-fitted shoes. If you're using golf clubs that are not properly fitted for you, your brain's smart enough to know that it has to make a compensation in the golf swing to get the golf club so it's flat on the ground. A good way to do it is if you had like a small little piece of wood, you can get electrical tape and put it on the bottom of the golf club and hit some golf balls off that hard surface, and it will leave a scuff on the electrical tape, and you'll know if you're hitting it at the center, if you're scuffing it towards the toe, or if you're scuffing it towards the heel. But in a perfect world, you want to have that club face square and flat on the ground as you're coming through. I always look at it, you bought the golf club, let's use the whole thing, not just the toe or the heel. So it's a great way to do it, just by putting electrical tape on the bottoms of the golf club and hitting it off of a hard surface, like a piece of plexiglass or a small piece of wood. The last time I did a fitting like that, I used tile floor. So I got a piece of laminate flooring, just one piece, and I hit balls off the laminate just with putting electrical tape on the bottom, and I made sure all of my golf clubs were square to the ground as you're hitting them. So it's a great way to do it.
Oh, that is good information, because the loft is such a crazy thing when you go into a golf store. There's so many options.
Oh,
one more question, then we want to see you.
Yeah.
And this is from a friend of mine too, so I'm kind of hesitant on asking it, but I'm going to. He says, I rarely have divots. Is this normal?
You know what? It's not a bad thing. You're picking the ball as long as you're not topping it, as long as you're not hitting it thin. If you're picking it clean, you're bang on. The key to making a divot is you always want to have, if you're making a divot, you want to have the divot after the golf ball. And a great drill to do is have the golf ball on the grass, put a tee right beside the golf ball, and hit your shot. You can see exactly where the divot was happening based on where that tee is. So what you want to be doing, and I hear a little bit of wind in so I'm trying to turn a little bit so the wind isn't prevalent for you guys, but what you want to do is you want to try and hit the ball first, hit the ball on the downswing. And actually what happens is a lot of people think you have to help the ball up in the air, and it's not. Every golf club that you have has an angle on it. And that angle is what gets the ball up in the air. And I always relate it, the simplest analogy for me when I'm working with somebody, especially when I'm working with somebody that's just starting out playing the game, is let's say the earth is a big frying pan and the golf ball is an egg. And you put the golf ball on the ground, so you put that egg on the frying pan. And what you have to do then, if you're having a fried egg, you've got to run a spatula along the frying pan with the spatula on an angle. And what actually happens is the egg then lifts up onto the spatula and you're able to flip it. The same thing with the golf club. The golf club has the angle on it. The ball's sitting on the frying pan. You've got to get that club underneath the golf ball for the ball to lift up in the air. If you try to help the ball up in the air, you're going to break the yoke, or you're going to hit that line drive or that thin shot. So is it crucial to make a divot? You know what? You can play great golf without making a divot, but if you just want to make sure that you're not hitting it thin or hitting those line drives. If you're getting the ball nicely up in the air, man, you're just picking the ball clean. So kudos to you. Good for you.
Thanks, Todd. That's awesome. Let's see what you've got there with the rest of the lineup of golf balls.
Oh my God.
I'm making you work here.
What can we do here? Okay. I got one for you. What actually happens is when people are playing golf, whenever people put a golf club in their hand, a lot of the times their natural athletic motion goes out the window. So whenever anybody's coming to me for a golf lesson, I always ask them, I say, what sport did you play growing up? And if they played tennis, if they played baseball, if they played most sports, we can relate it to golf. So if somebody grew up playing tennis, what I'm going to put in their hands right off the bat is something I've designed for teaching. And basically it is a tennis racket with a golf club shoved in the end of it. So what I'm going to get that person to do is I'm going to get them to make tennis swings. I'm going to get them to make tennis swings at chest height, going to make tennis swings at knee height, and then I'm going to make tennis swings with the ball in the dirt. And what we're doing, here's chest height, here's knee height, and here's ball. So what am I doing? I'm changing my spine angle. But what we get people to do is I get people to make those tennis swings at chest height, get them to make tennis swings at knee height, get them to make tennis swings with the ball in the dirt. And once it starts to look natural, and it does because people are relating it to the sport that they already know how to do, I get them to do the exact same thing with a golf club in their hand. So what I get them to do is stand beside the golf ball. And again, waiting for the serve to come, what do? We bounce back and forth. We're holding onto the racket like this. Here's a tennis swing at chest height. Here's a tennis swing at knee height. And here's a tennis swing with the ball in the dirt. It's a golf swing. I just hit it with a 7-iron about 140 yards with one hand because I used my body in an athletic motion. This tennis swing, waiting for the serve to come. If you look at my body right now, that's the same position that my body's in when I'm making my golf swing. Laura, I've done a lot of work down in Florida. I've lived down in Florida for a lot of winters, and I do a lot of work with baseball players when spring training kicks on. I live in Palm Harbor, so Yankees, Blue Jays, and the Phillies are all in that area, and I do a lot of their charity events. So one guy came to me, I'm not going to tell you who he was, but very famous baseball player. He came to me for a golf lesson, and he had an $8 million baseball swing. But the second we put a golf club in his hand, he had like a 50-cent golf swing. It was terrible. So what I did was I said, go home, come on back tomorrow morning. He came back to me the next morning, and what I did that night was I went to the sporting goods store and I bought a baseball bat, drilled a hole in the end of it, took my pitching wedge, broke it because I had an extra one, and I shoved it in the end, and I put together a baseball bat with a pitching wedge head on it. Came to me the next morning, I said, we're going to work on your golf game. But what I got him doing was I got him making that $8 million baseball swing. So what I got him to do is I got him to set up and I got him to make baseball swings at chest height. Then I got him to make baseball swings at knee height. Then I got him to make baseball swings with the ball in the dirt. And it started to look like a pretty good golf swing when we were relating it to baseball. Then when things started to feel comfortable with this baseball bat and golf club, what we ended up doing was we got a 7-iron out, and I said, I want you to do the same thing. So he stood up to the golf ball, and what he did was he made his at the plate motion. So we started making baseball swings at chest height. We started making baseball swings at knee height. And then we started making baseball swings with the ball in the dirt. And it actually looked like a pretty good golf swing when we got him thinking about baseball. And all that I wanted to try and do was put that athletic motion back into his body again when he was holding onto the golf club. The only problem that he had is he came back to me 2 weeks after his golf lesson, and right away I saw what was wrong is he got set up and he took it back and he started doing this. And until we kept that foot planted on the ground, his golf game went a little bit haywire. But once we got that foot planted on the ground, he started to play pretty good golf. And again, all that we're doing is taking somebody's athletic motion with whatever sport they're in and translating it into golf. Because what happens is, and we see it all the time, I see it all the time, you know, people get up to the golf ball and they make really, really nice practice swings and things look really good. Then all of a sudden they get to the golf ball and everything goes out the window again. The key to it is just thinking about what is athletic to you and making that natural athletic swing. Don't let the golf ball or the golf club intimidate you.
That's a great tip. Fantastic tip. We've only got a few more minutes, but right now, I'm not sure if you wanted to show something to us first before we go into a couple more questions, or.
You know what? Throw another question while I catch my breath, and we'll hit a couple trick shots.
Sure, sounds good. So one of the questions here is, what do you look for when buying new clubs?
The thing I look for when I'm buying new clubs or when I'm recommending new golf clubs to somebody, first of all, is price point. You got to figure out, when you go into a golf store, they'll have, the lowest price point golf clubs, and then they'll work their way up to the highest price point. What you got to think about is okay, how much money can I justify spending to how much I play the game of golf? If you're only going to go out a couple times a year, I'm not going to recommend spending $3,000, $4,000 on a set of golf clubs. And that's how much it could be when you start getting into the higher end golf clubs. Price does make a difference because price does, the technology is everything. You look at when I first started playing, it was the old persimmon wood golf clubs with the shafts on them that were steel and the balls that weren't flying that far. And nowadays, these pros that are on TV, they're hitting the ball so far because technology's come such a long way. But I think you got to justify how much money do you want to spend to how much you're going to play. Then make sure you get fitted properly. Make sure that you have the right equipment in your hands that match your golf swing. If you're going to go to the golf store before you improve your golf swing, you might then have to change the dynamics of your golf club based on a new golf swing. So what I would recommend is getting a consistent golf swing first, and then getting your golf clubs matched up to that golf swing. That's what I recommend.
Great tips. And there's just one more question, then show us your trick shots, then we'll close it off for the afternoon and hopefully be able to go test out some of these great tips that you've given us. But actually, it was funny because in the last presenter that we had with David Garofalo, he had actually mentioned to my amazing boss, Anthony, how they were just playing golf probably a couple of years ago for a business related event. So my question to you here actually is, how do you see golf in the business world now, and how they're starting to kind of combine and it's used as a business tool now?
This is a great story. So back in 1999, I took a vacation to Hawaii, and I ended up, I was spending 2 weeks there on vacation. It was the beginning of the winter, so I wasn't working until the springtime here in Toronto. And what ended up happening was a friend of mine took me to one of their Chamber of Commerce meetings. And they said, listen, a friend of ours is in from town. He's a golf entertainer. He does all these crazy stuff. So one of the individuals from the chamber took me out to play golf with their clients. And what actually happened was, for the first 3 or 4 holes, the individual that brought me out he was hard selling these clients, or trying to get these clients to buy into his business, and was really hard selling on his company. And I pulled him aside. I said, listen, let me play stupid and start asking questions and start initiating the conversation so it's not a hard sell. And for the 16 remaining holes, we had great conversation. It wasn't a hard sell. I was asking the questions leading up to it, leading up to some great answers from the individual that brought me out. He ended up signing a $2 million deal that evening on the 19th hole at the clubhouse. So he went in and told his friends. Next thing you know, I put my ticket on standby. I ended up spending almost 3 months in Hawaii playing business golf. And the key to playing business golf is the golf course you're trying to, I always look at it, and actually do a seminar on this. I look at business golf as you're spending 5 hours with somebody and you're building an incredible relationship with them. Chances are, the phone's not going off like crazy. You're not answering emails and stuff like that. By the end of the round, you kind of know how many kids they have. You kind of know what their vacation habits are like. You learn so much about an individual on the golf course that you're developing the relationship on the golf course. Then you can take that and follow up with the business call. So I always look at it for business golf. Don't be the hard seller out on the golf course. Build the relationship. Then from there, you have the trust, you have the bond, because you're spending 5 hours with that client. And nowadays, getting 5 hours with somebody, it is rare. So the golf course, I think it's right now, well, before all the lockdown and stuff, it was restaurants were the #1 meeting place outside of the work, and then the golf course. But I always look at it, a dinner or a lunch, it is 45 minutes. You're being interrupted constantly by the waiter or waitress. Where a golf course, you have 5 hours of uninterrupted time, and you can really develop an incredible bond with an individual and really a lifelong friend. So take it, use it as that, and then start selling afterwards, whether it's the follow-up phone call or the, hey, let's get together and talk business. But try not to do it when you're on the golf course, because they want to enjoy their round of golf too, rather than listening to pitches and hard sells.
Very good point. Very good point. So let's see what you can show us here just before we close off here. No pressure, Todd.
Okay, so I've been in a lockdown for a couple months now. I'm going to try a crazy shot. Most people have a hard time hitting a golf ball when it is standing still on a tee. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try bouncing a couple balls and hitting them out of the air. Now, the crazy thing about it, and what we heard in the beginning, is golf trick shots now are going, all trick shots in sports are going viral right now. But what people don't realize is the camera's rolling for 8 hours to get that one lucky shot. There's only a handful of us around the world that can do trick shots live in front of a group of people. I normally do them in front of minimum 144 people all the way to 3,000 people. And if I miss a shot, it goes as a missed shot. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try hitting a couple of these
Todd,
balls.
We lost your video again quickly, just as you're about to do it. Sorry.
Damn,
there we
phone
go.
Keeps on
there
ringing right now. Okay. So what I'm going to try and do is hit a couple balls, or if I hit one, I'm just going to leave it on that note. But I'm going to try throwing this ball up in the air, bouncing it off the patio stone and hitting it out of the air. Here we go. And I missed the stone. So that made it 1 for 1. Here we go. Y'all see that one? Laura, I know you saw that one, didn't you? Or did you hear it?
Well, saw it, and yeah, make it look so easy.
There we go, 2 for 2. Let's see if I can do one more. We'll see if we can go 3 for 3, Laura. Oh, there we go, 3 for 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's no trick. I love that shot because I have no idea how it's going to bounce, where it's going to bounce. Normally, I get people to throw them, so I have no idea. That's a fun trick shot that I do, and live on camera, so I couldn't mess it up. So that wasn't rolling for 8 hours. So that just shows how good some of us are that can do these for entertainment, almost like the Harlem Globetrotters of golf. It's a lot of fun.
Now, you're so right. A lot of us have a hard time just using those big face of the drivers there to hit the ball when it's flat on the ground. So kudos to you. Todd, the information you've provided today has been amazing. I know it's helped my golf game as well as a lot of my colleagues that have written back to me and a lot of our attendees here as well. Anthony, are you still there?
Of course I am. I've been riveted this whole time. Todd, that was just fantastic. I'm really happy that you're based in Toronto. So I look forward to running into you at an event or buying some of your time or something to help me. That was my question about the slice. And thank you. That advice was fantastic. Just I got to work on the natural hook and work my way back. I will
exactly. Just narrow that window. But that's the way to do it. That split grip will help you immediately. It really will.
Awesome. Really fantastic stuff, Todd. Thank you so much for taking the time, getting us thinking about getting active again and getting out on the golf course and giving such fantastic tips that only a pro like yourself can bring. Awesome stuff.